Welcome to Keep Your Head Up Hockey. I'm your host, Jamie Young. We've got Dylan Jose in the house and bringing you your pregame show for Saturday Night Hockey. We got a great one tonight. We've got the Buffalo Sabres facing off against our Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's going to be a great one. They're in Buffalo, and I love that arena. Great place to go watch games, and a great place for the Leafs to dominate tonight. So we're hoping for that. Core 4, shout out to you. You guys are the best. Really getting some great viewers on this weekly. Let's keep it going. Let's grow this stream. Let's grow this show, and really appreciate your support. Dylan, how you doing today? Are you excited for this matchup?
I'm great, man. The sun is shining. I got to say my excitement for the last 10 games here isn't probably where it normally is when I watch Leaf games, but obviously I'm going to tune in. I'm going to be excited. Going to be cheering on the boys tonight. Some interesting lineups we're going to talk about. And basically, let's win this. Washington loses. And the clinch. We got the clinch.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
gotta love
playoff
that.
bound.
Yeah.
So we can coast into the playoffs, let our injured guys rest, chill out, chill for a bit, work on some things. We got some things to work on.
All right. Well, let's talk about the team comparisons overall. I've been doing this the last few games. Buffalo's got our number and have for quite some time. 128 wins compared to our 92 against them. And we all remember the 9-2 loss this year. That was pretty rough with Samsonov in net. Last game we played them was on March 6th. We did win in overtime 2-1. Before that was that 9-3 loss. Sabres last 5 games have been playing pretty decent. 5-2 New Jersey last night. 4 goals for Tage Thompson. When he's hot, he's on. He's hot. He's ready to rock. He's playing really well. They did lose to Ottawa 6-2 though, but then beat Calgary 4-1. Lost a big one to Edmonton 8-3. And then Vancouver 3-2. In last 5 games for the Leafs, Washington 5-1 win. We also had a loss against New Jersey 6-3. Carolina 2-1. Edmonton a win 6-3. What a great win that was, and then another win for Washington. So the Leafs are playing good when they play well, when they show up, they get it done. But those games like New Jersey and Carolina really got to show up and play their A game. J-Dog's trying to come in, so we're going to throw him on there. Jay, can you hear us? Now, Jay's having a little bit of technical difficulties. We'll proceed without him. That's okay.
I'll do my best J-Dog impression.
Big thing here too, we want to talk about is the special teams for Buffalo and Toronto. Buffalo power play 30th overall, 9.4%, but penalty kill, one of the best in the league, 90.5%, 5th overall in the league. Now, Toronto, on the other hand, power play 29.4% for goals, which is 5th overall in the league. Really good heading into the playoffs. And then penalty kill, mediocre, 75.8%, tied for 20th in the league. So in Buffalo too, they are pretty good against the Atlantic Division with a 10-10-2 record, the Atlantic Division this year. And Sabres are 9-10-4 in games decided by a goal. And then Toronto, on the other hand, has an 8-9-2 record against the Atlantic Division. And Maple Leafs have a 22-8-1 record in games their opponents serve more penalty minutes. So I think that's going to be a kicker for the game again tonight is our power play. If we can get on the power play often, get these guys pissed off and get the boys on the power play, I think we'll win the game. What are your thoughts on the team comparison tonight against Buffalo and how they've had our number recently?
This is another game where we need to dominate. We've got a bunch of games against the bottom sort of playoff peripheral or teams that are completely out of it. So we need to just show our dominance. We came out the last 2 games. I think we had over 45 shots a game in each game. And I was preaching about that on some previous shows. where the Leafs just need to throw the puck on the net. I think Matthews had like 8 or 10 shots the other night, which is what I like to see. Even though we didn't get the result against New Jersey that we wanted, we're throwing the puck at the net, and realistically, that's what you got to do, especially against a goalie like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who we know that can be exposed. I think he gave 4 against Ottawa in the first half of the first period the other night. So pucks to the net, rebounds, second chances, and the Leafs will come out on top here in Buffalo. You know, you're going to have a pile of Toronto fans driving down the QE to get to that game, which is something you and I talked about. Maybe we'll do that one day. Sounds like a lot of fun. So shout out to all those Leaf fans out there that are taking the trip down the QE dub.
Yeah.
Support the boys in Buffalo. One thing I really love about this Buffalo team and the organization is they play the Canadian national anthem before every game, regardless of a Canadian team playing. And I think that says a lot. You know, I used to hate this team back in the day. I had a real hate on for them because they had Dominic Hasek, and they weren't that great of a team, but they seemed to beat the Leafs. They beat us in the playoffs in the past, but I think we just need to exercise our dominance, prove that we are a top team in the league, which we are, and we win tonight, and Washington loses tonight, then we have ourselves a berth to the playoffs, baby. So these next 10 games, Jamie, I mean, I'll be watching them. Who cares really what happens as long as we win a few. Obviously, we don't want to see any more injuries, so we'll talk a bit about that. And go Leafs, go. Let's see how we can do against the Sabres tonight. Tage Thompson's on a heater too, so 4 goals last night. He scored against the Leafs last time. But I like the first lineup, the first line here with Twos and Domi and Matthews. I think they can really do some damage. They've proven themselves without Mitch Marner.
So a couple comments here on the relationship that I have with the Sabres. My dad and my brother are diehard Sabres fans, and I grew up, you know, this is a hated rivalry in our family. And we used to get together all the time and watch these games. And boy, oh boy, when I grew up, of course, the Leafs weren't doing too well. Would get chirped all the time about the Leafs and how crappy the Leafs are doing. And then when Buffalo's not even having a good season, they play against us and beat us. It was a pretty tough time growing up in the household on Farmington Crescent in London, Ontario.
A lot of headlocks over there at the
man, my brother and I would go at it. Yeah, we would go at it. But another good thing about that is that we would go down.
I got 2 sons, Jamie. I know what it's like. I couldn't imagine if they didn't both cheer for the Leafs. It would be a gong show in my house too. They already punch each other enough over video games. So,
but we went down to a lot of games. You know, in Buffalo, probably I'd say 30 games over my life, awesome. And what a great place to go watch a game. There's always tons of Leaf fans in the building, and a fantastic place to watch a Leaf game. If you haven't went, if you're in the Toronto area or Ontario, period, and you want to watch a Leaf game, and you can't afford it, I would recommend planning a trip to Buffalo. Because I tell you right now, with gas, food, hotel room, and tickets, it's cheaper to go to a game in Buffalo than it is to just drive and go to the game in Toronto. It's just way too expensive there. Even with the inflation in the dollar, you'll be saving some bucks. So try it out. You'll love it. You won't be disappointed. A great place to watch a game. Let's talk about injuries.
And if you go, let us know you're going. We'll give you a shout out, or we want to get someone on the show who's been at the Buffalo games and tell us about your experience. That'd be fun.
Absolutely. A big shout out to Nick Young, my brother, who tunes in weekly. Really do appreciate you tuning in and watching us. And let's get some more Sabres fans and Leafs fans watching this one today. So let's go over the injury report real quick. We've got Morgan Riley out. His estimated return is for the game against Florida on Monday. Mitch Marner still out. They pushed back his date till April 3rd. And then we've got Liljegren out up until April 16th is what they're saying. So he's on an extended leave. They're even saying Austin Matthews out when I looked at it, but I guarantee he'll play. But it is saying estimated return is today. I think he had the flu bug or wasn't feeling well.
He was sick. He wasn't feeling well. He looked a little disheveled on the ice the other night.
But you know what? He pushed through and he was there, right? At least. So yeah, but he wasn't feeling too well.
Even at 70%, he's better than 95% of the league. So
Oh man, he's just a fantastic player. Not even just scoring goals. That guy seals the puck so often, and blocks shots. With the best of them. I saw a stat with who was it here? The guy from Vancouver. Oh gosh, his name escapes me. But anyway, he was tied for top blocks for the year. And to be a top goal scorer and then block shots as well says something about your character as a person and as a player. Getting it done both ways. Samsonov, ready to return tonight. He's suspected to start tonight, which is good because he'll be back in the lineup. He was out for a little bit. Then we'll run through the Buffalo players too. We've got Lucas Rosek out till today. He's supposed to be coming back today. Greenway out until today. Jost out until today, and then Quinn out today. So until today. So a lot of players coming back for Buffalo. They should have a full roster there. But yeah, injury report. That is your injury report, and we'll move on to
Yarncroft, the Croc.
The Croc.
I don't know what he must have. He was in pain when he went into the boards the other night. He looked like he broke a wrist or something. Like he could be out.
Yeah,
several.
But he's not even on the report, which is kind of odd, But yeah,
he's. And I don't know what happened to Liljegren. I didn't see his injury at all. He just kind of.
No, me neither. Maybe something in practice or something. I'm not
upper body, they say, but
not too sure.
Whatever. We've got so much depth on defense. We have even guys like Edmondson's out. You mentioned that too. He's day to day with something.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You could swap guys in and out of that defensive lineup and still be pretty solid back there. So credit to Trevling for doing a good job on defense. And Ri-Fi's getting the call up tonight. I don't know if they're going to go with 7D. But
nice for that kid.
But again, another chance for the Leafs D-core. This is a tryout for anyone on that D-core to see who starts in the playoffs. I think who's going to have a better game. The one thing about this year, the last several games, I find is the criticism on individual players hasn't been there like it used to be in the media, amongst our peers, people talking about different players and how they need to do better. There was a little bit of talk about Bertuzzi and Domi in the past, but they've shut up the haters, the critics in the last several games. So what it really comes down to is the team game and how they play with cohesiveness and how Keefe puts the right players on the ice. And that's leads us right into the projected lineups here, Jamie.
Absolutely. Now, a big lineup I wanted to talk about tonight, and I wanted to kind of pose a question to you in a second here. We've got Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Domi on the front line, and I love that line. There's some really good, like they're gelling. They really are gelling since Marner's been out. And then McMahon, Tavares, and Nylander, another line that's really gelling. Nyes, Holmberg, and Robertson, another line I really like, and then Dewar, Camp, and Reeves. Like, I like all four of our lines, and we'll go back to what Jay says a lot. 4 lines deep. That's 4 lines deep. I really like it. My question to you is, when Marner comes back, do we break up Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Domi, or do we put them in the second line? And if we do we just move down McMahon? I think we have to, right? But I don't think that we break up that Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Domi line. What are your thoughts on that?
This is going to be a huge challenge for Keefe because I think one of the problems with this Leaf team throughout the year that we've seen is the fact that they get too many really talented players on one team and they try to do too much and they give up the puck or they lose the puck. They're not making the right plays. They're trying to force pucks, make those passes that aren't necessarily the right play, but would it be highlight reel plays? Yes. But when it sort of turns around and goes the other way, you're in a lot of trouble. Whereas you get a line with a little more, put lines together like Bertuzzi, Domi, and Matthews with a lot of sandpaper down the stretch and into the playoffs. That's what you need because the fancy plays, those are good. It's great to have those players because when one or two of those guys gets a breakaway versus some of the other guys who are less skilled, chances are the puck's going in the net, which is awesome. However, in this in this game, in the way it's played right now, with the grit and the banging and the crashing and the freeing up of pucks, that's what's super important to me, and that's what's winning us hockey games and keeping us in these games.
Yeah. The Bertuzzi and Domi being those bang and crash type of guys, the guys that like to muck it up, making room for Matthews.
So where do you put Marner? Do you put Marner with Nylander and Tavares? Like, I don't like that line. I love that line. On paper, that line sounds great.
I think we'd say like even Marner even goes down to the third line. And I hate to say it because he's so talented, but we're gonna have to put him on the second line. And I think the only guy that we
put him on defense again.
Oh, yeah, he plays well. But no. Tavares, I think that we put, maybe Marner in the middle and have him play with McMahon and Nylander, move Tavares down to the third line with Nyes, Tavares, and Robertson, and then put Holmberg down with Dewar and Reeves, or get rid of Reeves and put Camp on the right line. I don't know. But yeah, something interesting is going to have to happen. And you know what?
And you got Holmberg in there too, who had a couple goals there a week or so ago.
He's playing well. Everybody's playing great.
Again, good problem to have. What happens when Yarncroc comes back? Like, I feel like I said, these even for the, like I said, for the defense, but just as much for the bottom six. These next games are a tryout for who gets the playoffs. And shout out to J-Dog, who couldn't make it on due to technical difficulties, but he's got a hard on for Nick Robertson. And I've started to pay attention to his game, and I kind of like his game. I like where it's at. And I just hope that he plays. I hope that he gets in there on the third line. Maybe Nyes. What do you do with Nyes then? He hasn't quite performed to the level that we expected him to. It's a tricky situation for Keefe, and it might make or break Keefe's success in the playoffs, how he juggles the lineup.
It's a good problem to have. It really is. It's a really good problem to have, and we'll see what he does. Like, Keefe's been moving the lines around all season, and I think he's got to be almost an expert with this team on who should be playing with who now, because he just done it so much this year, moving the lines around. But I really think he's got a winner with Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Domi, especially the way that Domi and Bertuzzi are highlighting Matthews right now.
Well, you can bump Dewar and Reeves and slot in Robertson and Holmberg and Camp as a fourth line, which is a crazy fourth line. Then you have Yarncroc, because you need that grit, I think. So I would rather see Yarncroc. And what can Nylander play center? Nylander could play center with Marner and Yarncroc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you have Tavares on the third line with McMahon and Nyes, maybe reunite those two guys too. Right?
But really,
the veteran presence of Tavares with a couple of young guys that can actually feel like they have a little bit more ability to communicate with each other and tell each other what to do. Whereas when Nyes is on a line with Matthews and Marner, what is he going to say? Guys, do this differently. They're going to be like, go take a hike, right?
Yeah, for
check
sure.
The number,
check
the name on the jersey, bud.
But does Matthews play better with Marner is the question, right? And we got to really look at the stats on how many goals Matthews got earlier on in the year when he was playing with him. Does Matthews truly play better with Marner, or is rough and tough and stumble Bertuzzi Domi comparison better with Matthews? Is a huge argument up there. So
I guess it depends on the game. Keefe's going to have to weigh what's happening in the game, and maybe guys sit, maybe he shuffles the deck a little bit. That's my opinion. Like, if guys are playing well, or if he needs to load up a line on an icing call and get the matchups that he wants, that's what's going to happen, I think.
Yeah.
Or that's what he needs to do. And if he wants to be a proven coach and set himself apart from other coaches and actually convince the fans that he is the coach to take us to the promised land, which I think that's really the only question mark. This team is enough to win and win well. Is the coach enough to beat the other coaches?
Well, let's talk about the defensive pairings tonight. They've got Benoit with McCabe, and let's just briefly talk about him right now. Good old shout out to Benoit, where we've just re-signed him, and I think it's just a fantastic signing. 1.35 million a year for 3 years is pretty outstanding, if you ask me. What a deal for him. And I really think that he's going to pay off in the next couple of years. I really like him. I think he's a tough, hard-nosed player that plays the puck well. He sacrifices his body. He does everything right. And I really like that kid. And now he's on the front line for the Leafs with Riley being out. This guy can play. So I just loved the assignment, and what a great signing by the Leafs. What are your thoughts on this, Dylan? I love to as well. I'll just comment really quick. I love that they did this before the playoffs. Give the kid a pat on the back, say, you know what, we really believe in you. We want you part of our dream team. We want you, for the long run, and kind of give him some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some confidence to say, hey, I'm doing a good job. And even the back office staff really like me. And I love it. I really like this move. And at 25 years of age, 1.35 mil, you can't go wrong.
So he must have gotten the league minimum before that. So he basically almost doubled his salary. I actually feel bad for Benoit because I don't feel like this is a great deal for him. But again, a huge signing for the Leafs at 1.35. And he knows the situation on that team. He knows that it's a big competition to even make the lineup. And he wants to be on a winning team. He feels like, could he have got more money elsewhere on a worse team? Probably closer to 1.8, under the 2 million mark, the way he's been playing. But he took a bit of a discount to play on a winning team and a chance to win the Stanley Cup. And to have him, he's 25, so to have him for the next 3 years, and then we'll see where he goes after that. He could get 3 million, 3.5 million after that for another 5 years easily.
Agreed. Or even more. The sky's the limit. If he just keeps progressing, I think this kid improves on a game-to-game basis. Mm-hmm. Like every day he's getting better. And he's just one of those guys that, wears his heart on his sleeve and tries every single shift, works his ass off. And those are the guys that you want on your back end for sure, especially with, the Leafs having trouble on defense. Adding Benoit has been a huge save for this team. And I love him. I love the kid. So a huge shout out from Keep Your Head Up Hockey, Simon. Amazing work. But he's on the shift with McCabe. We got Brody and Labushkin, and then Giordano and Timmins tonight. Like the lineup,
money is very motivating. So to give him a big old paycheck and a big old raise might just show some confidence in him, and maybe he feels better about being in the lineup every single night, and he will be. Who's the odd man out when Riley and Edmondson come back? Is it Timmins? Is it Liljegren? Like, I love Timmins.
Brody and Timmins are gone.
Brody had a great night the other night. I just don't understand. Like, I feel bad for Brody too. Like, these guys are champs in there, but I saw Brody the other night. He got his ankles broken on the sideboards. I can't remember who it was, but he just looked like he misplayed the man. And I think that's the kind of stuff that I never noticed in Brody's game, but maybe that's what the coaches are picking up, that he's misplaying guys, because he's got offense, right?
For sure he does.
He's passing, and he got 2 assists the other night. So, I mean, he's there on the offense, but that's not what this team needs right now, unfortunately. And I think that's why he's the odd man out. You have enough offensively minded defensemen. We need some guys that can shut down, clear the net, take guys out.
Evanston is too tough to not have in that lineup. The cross-check king, I just love how rough he is in front of the net. Just giving the wood,
old school,
or the plastic now. Anyway, but just
the carbon fiber.
The carbon fiber to the back.
Guys are getting slivers in their lower back, carbon fiber slivers.
He's a rough kid, and I really like that.
He doesn't take too many penalties either. I don't even know if he's had a penalty.
He gets away with this shit. He gets away with this shit all the time. I love it. Just love it. But it's a good problem to have. We've got too many guys, I think, now to really fill in, and gotta love that. And we'll just talk about briefly a little bit about the lineup for Buffalo, and then we'll kind of wrap up the show. But we've got Tage Thompson on the center line with Tuck and Peterka. And then we've got Benson, Cousins,
Peterka.
Quinn. Yeah, Peterka.
Peterka.
Skinner, Krebs, and Greenway, and then Gergensen, Jost, and Olofsson. The first line, Tage Thompson and Tuck. What a great pairing there. They've been playing well. Tage had 4 goals last night, and then I got to give a shout out to Cousins. I love this kid. I think that the Cousins is a underperforming center in the league. He was drafted, mid-draft the 1 year, and he really just has not turned into the player that Buffalo wants him to be. So I think that he has unfinished business here in the next couple of years to really shine and show all that he can be. But they've got a good setup. I think that they're underperforming team overall. Then Owen Power, in Dahlin, Byram. Now they got him from Colorado, and then Joe Caharu, and then Bryson and Clifton. And I probably pronounced that the name wrong. 10, Joe Caharu. And then we've got Luukkonen in net, and then Levy. I do believe that Levy's playing again tonight. He played really well, but they could surprise us and played Luukkonen. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Buffalo and their squad, Dylan?
Tuck is one player to watch. He's on a 7-game pointer right now. And he's just a good, consistent. They have a lot of good, consistent players. The only inconsistency in that lineup is Tage Thompson, which, he is like hot and cold. A guy who can score every night, scores 4 one night, and then goes 3-4 games without getting a point. I think one of the main things that the Leafs need to look out for in this lineup is don't underestimate these players. Some of these guys aren't household names. They aren't superstars, but they're hardworking, skilled guys that can put the puck in the net when you're not looking. They can take advantage on the shorthanded chances, and they did that against the Leafs the last time out. So they've got speed, they've got skill, and for the Leafs tonight, if they can keep an eye on, keep Tuck under wraps, even Peterka, he's got a goal in 4 games. And is tied with Tage Thompson for the lead. So these guys don't score a lot. I think that the leading, like, no one has 30 goals on this team yet. No. But they're a score by committee type team. Mm-hmm. And you know how the Leafs are, man. They, you want to bet who's going to score tonight. Pick the guy who hasn't scored in 85,000 games. They'll score against the Leafs. So you got to watch out for that. And the Leafs can't fall asleep. I feel like that's what happens against good teams. They fall asleep, and this leads us right into the keys to success, Jamie, where they get a little too comfortable and think that they're a little too much better, which they are. I mean, they're clearly the better team, but don't get comfortable because a team like this will sting you. They'll sting you hard.
Definitely. That's key to success, is not underestimating the Sabres for the Leafs, and also playing 60 minutes of hockey. They've got to get in the habit of showing up for hockey games and then finishing that hockey game. The Leafs never play 60 minutes. And if they want to be successful in the playoffs, they have to. And you know what? We are good enough to win a game in 5 minutes, but what if we play 60 minutes every single game? I think that this team would be, I don't want to say it, but almost unstoppable. If you really think about it, if every single shift these guys played their heart out, they might win out the rest of the season's games and then run into the playoffs on a heater. They've really got to wake up and say, hey, we've got 10 games left, literally 10, including this game with Buffalo. We got to wake the fuck up. We got to play good hockey, and we got to bring it, because all the habits that they're creating in these next 10 games are going to go right directly into the playoffs. And the playoffs are a whole different, style of ball game, right? It's rough and tough. It's craziness. It's a war. And if we're going to be playing Florida or Boston, there's some payback that we need to provide to these teams, right? And I don't think that, they like either team. I think it's going to get nasty, and they've got to kind of turn that nastiness on into their game. Get rough, get tough, bang and crash, stand in front of that net, just get nasty and play nastier hockey than they have lately. Keys to success for Buffalo: piss off Toronto, get under their skin. If they can get under the skin, Toronto might take some stupid penalties. You get on the power play, anything can happen. If they don't do that, I think that Toronto will dictate this game and kind of just run loose, and maybe it'll be, a 4 or 5 goal lead at one point. I can definitely see that happening. But again, if Buffalo plays their game and stays consistent and has their key players like Cousins and Tage and Tuck step up, anything can happen, right? And we've got Samsonov coming back after being off for a couple games. You never know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Samsonov kind of tweaked something the other game, right? When he went down on the knee. So, yeah, that's one thing for Buffalo is to try to get at Samsonov right away, jump all over the Leafs early if they can. Otherwise, they're going to be weathering the storm. And if you paid attention to the last few Leaf games, I think the message is pucks to the net. They've had over 40, 45 shots on goal. So Levi's got to be red hot if they want a chance to win, and don't let the Leafs put the nail in the coffin if you're Buffalo. But even if the Leafs are up 3-4 goals, that they can give it up. And one of the things for Buffalo is getting sticks in the lane and blocking those shots, because that's what the Leafs are going to do. They're coming in, they're going to shoot, and if they block a few shots, or if they can take advantage of the mistakes, and the Leafs are prone to making egregious mistakes, trying to make fancier plays, trying to it's almost like they get ahead of themselves where they think they're more skilled than they actually are, or that they underestimate Buffalo and their ability to defend, and they think that they can make these cross seam passes. And if Buffalo picks up on one or two of those, those types of goals can really deflate a team. You get 10, 15 shots to one in the first period or second, in the first part of the game, and they come back and score one on you because Sammy's just standing there for 10 minutes, not taking any rubber. I think that can really deflate a team like the Leafs, especially against a crappier team. We've seen it time and time again, how this Leafs team loses to bad teams because they just shrug their shoulders after getting scored on when they had 15, 14, 13 shots on net and scoring and missed scoring opportunities, ones that hit the post, that don't quite squeeze in, bad puck luck, whatever you want to call it. And then one goes the other way and hits the ass of a defender and goes in.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting game tonight, and I just wanted to kind of show this here. I saw on the Core 4 page what a rig this guy is rocking, the Toronto Maple Leaf truck in blue. I just got to love that. Kind of wanted to give a shout out to whoever's truck this is. It's a sweet one. Get your rides ready. Get those flags ready. We're running into my favorite time of year. It's the most wonderful time of the year. A couple last things here.
Is that a Dodge Ram? No, I don't know about the Dodge Ram. I mean,
I'm not a huge fan of the Dodge Ram.
I hope the Leafs can perform better than the Dodge Ram. That's all I can. Throw those stickers on a Toyota Tundra, would you? Let's go. I got to go buy myself a couple flags for the truck here and deckle mine up.
You really should, my friend. You got to get her going. You got to get her going.
Good.
Betting odds, we'll talk about that tonight. Toronto's the favorite, of course, negative 155 on the money line. Buffalo's 130 plus. And then the over-under, 6.5 goals. I would say it's going to be under, is my guess. It's going to be maybe a 4-2 game, and I'm going to definitely take Toronto. What are your thoughts on the over-under and who's going to win?
Yeah, I really want to take the over because I hate taking the under against the Leafs, but they may just not have the scoring prowess tonight. However, I do feel like Matthews is getting his 60th tonight. Let's go, Matthews. Put the 60 in, baby. We got, 10 games left? He gets a goal a game. 69, maybe he ends the season with 70. He's still got a chance. Maybe he's due for a Hattie. Let's go.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Gets 3. The Leafs win 4-1. 4-0. Sammy with the shutout tonight.
Ooh, Sammy with the shutout. I'm liking it. Lots of hockey today. Just an FYI, lots of hockey on the schedule today. Afternoon game. Detroit. I can't remember who they're playing, but 12:30 game for Detroit. So if you want to watch some afternoon hockey, you've got
Florida.
it. Yeah, Florida and Florida and Detroit should be a good one. But lots of hockey on the schedule tonight. But obviously the most important one, Leafs and Sabres, should be a great one.
And the Jays are
hockey.
back in action too. I was excited about that yesterday and the day before. 2 days they won the first game, lost the second, but the rubber match today.
Yeah, they played like crap the second game. The second game was just like, oh gosh, it was rough to watch last night. But yeah, we'll see. Go Jays go and go Leafs go. Go love those Toronto teams. Massive shout out to Core 4 again. We really appreciate you. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for tuning into our Saturday night pregame shows. We're going to be here with you the whole playoffs. We plan to do a pregame for each and every Leaf playoff game for you. So get excited for that. But a big thank you for supporting us. If you've got to the end of the show, you obviously liked what you saw, smash that like button, share the show on your own social media. Please, when you're watching the game tonight with family and friends, please talk about our show. Mention our show. Tell them to join the Facebook group, Keep Your Head Up Hockey, or bring them to the YouTube page and have them subscribe. Really would appreciate that. But a massive shout out to Core 4. Thanks so much for everything. And KK Poker for all your poker needs, kkpoker.net. If you're not in Ontario, great website. And a shout out to Trevor Delaney for being our sponsor there as well. Well, thanks for watching. As always, keep your head up. Go Leafs go, and we'll see you next Saturday. But also, don't forget, Tuesdays, our normal show. Lots to talk about this week as we go right into basically the last couple weeks of the regular season, getting ready for the playoffs. But yeah, thanks for watching.
See ya.
See you next time.